Okay, we're going to get started. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to see everyone's faces and get to see all that. Oh, we got people from Austin and Hawaii and Sydney. Awesome, awesome. That's great. I am so excited for tonight because this is going to be a great one. We're talking about becoming a coach in a virtual world, and my special friends and guests tonight are Debbie Hauser and Dr. Tara Deniz, and they both have experience in moving from an in-person practice to a virtual setting and everything that goes in between that. So I'm super excited to share them with you guys and their stories. So without further ado, I'm going to get Debbie to start for me. I'm going to pin her here and welcome, Debbie.
Hey, Rochelle. Hi, everybody. I see so many friends here. Hi, guys. How are you? So thanks for showing up tonight. This is one of my kind of go-to topics lately. I've been talking with a lot of friends and students who are making the transition, and Dr. Tara and I are going to be telling you a little bit about how we made the transfer from the in-person to the virtual. And then we'll kind of go over questions that are definitely in the front of everybody's mind about how does this actually work. So first of all, just a quick backstory, and then I will hand you over to Dr. Tara. But my backstory is I used to own a full service holistic fitness facility, and then went on for further education. That was my brick and mortar for 13 years, and became a life coach and an Ayurvedic health coach. And I saw clients in person in 3 different locations. And I would do everything from Reiki sessions, sound healing, Ayurvedic protocols, different meditations, yoga, all different in-person type therapies, including even herbal remedies and things like that. And when the pandemic hit, all of the facilities where I was working shut down. I was in yoga studios, and I was in a spa as well, and then a mindfulness center, and they were all closed. And I took a pause and didn't really know what to do. And I'm not great with the computer, as Rochelle could clearly, back me up on that one. So I was a little bit panicked on how I would continue to make a living, and how I could take things that I was doing in person and transfer them to do them behind a screen. And I finally had spoken with a few of my clients, and they had decided that they just didn't want to wait anymore. And I took a laptop upstairs to my hidden part of the house and just figured out how to work, I think it was Skype at the time, and just started having conversations and teaching them, okay, well, this is what we do when we're in person, and how does it look, through the computer, and what can we do together, and can we do breathing practices? And before I knew it, I started applying my specific niche into this beautiful, conversation, as if we were in the same room together. And what initially seemed to be uncomfortable and kind of misstepping slowly transferred into a very flowing type of session. And the main things I had to focus on were, what were my top modalities that I could do from behind a screen that would still be impactful in helping a client's health improve. And I will say that there was a lot of hand-holding initially, but with the change that 2020 brought us, I think the world has shifted to become more comfortable with telehealth and just using the computer in general. So this transition, being bumpy initially, has become very smooth, and I absolutely couldn't see it going another way at this point. I'm going to pause there, and we'll go further into it. But for now, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Tara, and she's going to tell you her backstory. So hello, Dr. Tara.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you all. And thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Rochelle. We all have a story. I started my practice back in 2017. I'm a Quantum University graduate, but my background is conventional medicine. So everything online was completely out of my comfort zone. I believed always we have to have that practitioner and patient kind of interaction in a traditional office. And while I had my own office, everything was as I planned until 2020. So I, just like Debbie, I was practicing and doing assessments. Most of these assessments were with devices. I was doing neurofeedback, biofeedback, microcurrent therapy, laser, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, heart rate variability, and one of my very favorite is live and dry blood microscopy. So then when that health crisis happened in 2020, I was forced to, especially I was living in Toronto back then, which Ontario, Canada really hit hard with that lockdown. Everything was in full lockdown. And while I was forced, not only me, my client base were all people who were dealing with chronic pain, degenerative diseases. I had cancer care programs, and they were all not very comfortable with online coaching. They were in their senior years that they were not very comfortable with technology, and even sending them a Zoom link meeting was not very comfortable. So, but we were all forced suddenly with that health crisis to move everything to online. But again, that was another challenge. How can I use my devices online? How can I do all those assessments? But then slowly we started to adjust to that situation. And for example, I can just tell you how I switched some of my modalities online. Uh, I was doing live and dry blood microscopy. As you all know, dark field microscopy needs all this advanced microscope, and you cannot just do anything online. But there are some modalities you can do online, including dry blood microscopy that now Quantum University offers this course, which is called self-digital microscopy. Am I right, Debbie, right?
I think it is. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is one of our practicum workshops that teaches client, just like how you assess diabetes on your own in your home, you can do that dry blood microscopy and assess so many different conditions. And then I started making all this PDFs, sending them to my clients, sending link to microscopes that which you don't need advanced microscope, just like dark field microscopy. You need something very simple, something that they even sell them to all this kids scientific school stores that they're a couple $100. You can buy them and you can do self-assessment. And then we had coaching program, how to prick the skin with just one drop of blood, how you can assess yourself. And then I started sending them. I just wanted to show you that just all those charts and everything you expect to see in under the microscope so you can do your assessment. And I was sending them these kits, like these little lancets, even some aromatherapy oil. Some people get anxious, alcohol, so all those little things in a little bag, and they were so happy to get something with so personal, with like our own logos. And then also there were so other modalities. I realized even if I can do this online, there are so many different things we can do. We can do Muse. There's one other thing that we can suggest them to use. It's a neurofeedback device. Everybody can do that. but there were so many different programs that they were not required to buy any devices. We could even teach them how to take care of their own health. Because as a quantum medicine practitioner, we know our model is different than conventional medicine. In conventional medicine, we have only either we are sick or we are healthy. There is no intermediary stage. And then we move to modern naturopathy, that there are several stages of health. And then we, as a quantum medicine practitioner, there are no stages. It's just we understand that health is just a matter of choice. So as a quantum medicine practitioner, we are all educators, no matter if we are in an office or we are online. We need to teach our clients about how to take care of their own health, understand all the stages of disease, and 5 bodies of consciousness. What is 5 bodies of consciousness? What is downward causation model of health? And these are the things we can just, as a coach, as an educator, we teach them so they will understand their body, because there's so all this information people can get from online, but as we know, only 10% of people are auditory. Those the people need to everything, all those informations to be customized just for them. And you send them all these tools and give them all the knowledge and assessments so they can assess their own health. They can understand their own body, and just I started creating them programs. Back then, we had issues with all the fitness centers were closed. So some people, they needed more direction, how to lose weight, how to manage their weight without going to the gym, and how to nutritional programs. Those are the other things that you can help. And we had some major issues with anxiety and depression. How can we manage anxiety? How can we manage depression? As we know, we don't treat anything, we don't diagnose, we just give them tools and knowledge how to manage everything without treating them. And so we could use acupuncture, teach them how to do use crystals. For example, these are the crystals. I'm sure Rochelle will go through the platform. These are the crystals that we you can even buy them in discounted price from our platform, and teach your clients how to use them. What is acupressure points that, for example, is related to anxiety, and they just give them all those directions. Or you can even do auriculotherapy, teach them. I have even those little charts that charts or something to tell them what points to use for auriculotherapy. We can use ear seeds, those magnetic ear seeds, or acupuncture points, or there are so many different devices. Again, they're available in our platforms that you can suggest to your clients, including brain tap, neurofeedback devices, microcurrent devices, pulse electromagnetic field therapy mats. Those are great tools for your clients that they can use in their comfort of their own home, and just use it as a healing device. Is there anything, Debbie, Rochelle, would you like to add? Or if there's any question, I would love to answer. I don't.
I love your kit. That is it's so beautiful. It's such a great way of customizing your specific area of expertise, which I think really is the way that we have to look at how you each individually are going to proceed. You know, where is your specific focus? So my focus primarily now is how anxiety affects the body, and the tools that I use are meditation practices, Ayurvedic protocols. Excuse me, these are all based on my previous education and then added through what I learned at Quantum University. And one of the things that we learn in the quantum health coaching is that we are teachers, and through inquiry, we understand that if we keep asking questions and questions and questions, eventually we can solve what's really at the heart of the issue. And we have a lot of tools that we could use right from our comfort of our home that aren't even, you know, devices. They're just the tools of asking questions. So there's just basic forms that we can send to clients, which I believe Rochelle has access to my platform, and she is going to share with you either now or at some point.
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah, sure. So when I meet with a client, I do several things. If it's a new client, first thing is they need to sign a liability form, because, you know, this is important that we have to pay attention to our health. So this is my website. I'll jump back to that. And I have right on the front of my website, schedule now. So if you see in the green button, the schedule now, if you click that.
Can you guys see the screen okay?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
perfectly. Just go to the right upper right corner where it says schedule now.
Okay.
Yep. And if you click that, it should take you right to the platform. So there we are. So now this is where a client would schedule. And if we scroll down, all of my services, which I have taken services away. If we were at my website, you would see, you know, some things that are not here that I no longer do, but these are my meeting in-person sessions. And these are my programs that people can do without me. And of course, a gift to the clients, right? And so these are either they come to my website and they decide they want to work independently and they click a program and they buy it, or they want to book a session with me. And in my website, it lists additional tools that I use, such as tapping technique, which, yeah, if you want to go to services, thank you. Scroll down. So that's my basic interview, what that's about. I talk a little bit about how I run in 30, 60, and 90-minute. I just felt it was easier than going through, you know, you could do this, you can do this. So if you scroll down, it explains a little bit about what's involved. Now this is my Ayurvedic protocol is a little bit different. So that's at the top and that's separate. That's done in 3 parts. And I do a series of investigative questions, and we learn what a person's current imbalances are. And through all different techniques, we put them back in harmony. And I don't know if anybody understands anything about Ayurveda, or if you remember a little bit about the class, but Ayurveda uses all of the modalities. We use diet, lifestyle, pranayama, which is breath work, dinacharya, which is your daily practices. We use yoga on and off the mat. There's different ways to practice yoga. There's the physical aspect and there's the spiritual aspect. So there's different tools that are putting you in harmony with your what's called your constitution. And that is one of my favorite things to do. I also work with Ayurvedic herbs and spices, and I do make my own tinctures, and those I do mail to clients. But I have access to different companies online, some with the school, where clients can take my recommendations and order supplements, herbs, and spices to help put their body back in harmony. So that's my Ayurveda. And then if you scroll down, it's just very basic. Here's my wellness coaching. And if you continue on, I used to do the things below in person. There's my energy work. I'm a Reiki master, and I do chakra balancing, auricular therapy, which every once in a while, I do workshops with auricular therapy because I do enjoy it. Private yoga, I can do in person and I can do it online. And that's the beauty of, you know, having the screen where you can step back and have space, and depending on how your space is in your home. Now, this is another one of my favorites. There's a lot of different tools that I use for mindfulness stress reduction. I use the Muse. I have some clients who have their Fitbit or their Whoop app, and they are able to monitor their heart rate variability and send it to me, and I'm able to keep track of where they are and how they're doing and their state of coherence as well. So I can keep record of whether they're improving or what we need to change in order to bring more peace and harmony into their life with the stress reduction techniques. Now, this obviously was something that I did in person. However, like Dr. Tara said, I have ordered many crystals for my clients, the Vogel cut crystals, and I will sit in session with clients and I will show them what acupoints. I also use different, what's called marma points in Ayurveda. It's the same as an acupoint. It's a different point, but it's the same meaning. It's an energy reservoir where you press on a particular point, you're getting an energy effect for balancing. So I use the marma points with the Vogel cut crystals as well. But I also put them in touch with Dr. Paul's Project Noosphere to use his practices with the Vogel cut as well. EFT tapping, obviously we can do that right here. I'm certified in that, and that is something my clients love. And I went further into the therapeutics, and I do the acupoints with that. So it went into the trauma-based EFT. But again, trauma is something very specific, and you have to be trained. So that's just a sidebar. And the holistic anxiety and stress, this is the whole, as my father-in-law would say, kit and caboodle, the whole thing together. And this is primarily what my clients are dealing with. Most of my clients are anxiety sufferers that they have then manifested a physical symptom, which is the field of psychoneuroimmunology, if you remember, if you've taken neuroplasticity. So a lot of my focus is what has happened. It's also the nocebo, if you remember that term from Dr. Bruce Lipton. What has happened to your body as a result of your thoughts? And our, first class, which is coming up with in QU Live, deals with the quantum medicine class. That's what Dr. Goswami talks about. This is all the field of potential. Your thoughts create your reality. And if you can guide your clients into a new reality, well, you are doing your job as a coach. It just looks different for everybody. So you discover, what is your favorite area of health coaching? What did you enjoy most in school, or what do you do that you enjoy most? And how can you turn that into a virtual setting? It's a little bit of creative work, but that's a fun process if you get playful, and you'd be surprised of how much you have come up with. I mean, look what Dr. Tara did with mailing those the microscopy kits. I mean, that's fantastic. So that's the site, and then if we close out of the site and we go over to the forms, can you get to forms, Rochelle?
I can't get to your forms, but I can
Okay.
just show them. This is the landing page for the EH platform that she has, and she has, filled everything. You can click on book a session, and it'll bring up all of her services, where you can just directly either purchase a program, which are in orange, or schedule sessions this way, and you can select. So that's how she has her EH platform set up. But you can see here kind of her about me and all of her qualifications. And at the bottom is her blog post that we do offer on the EH platform as well. So,
right. And if Rochelle was to book a session with me, she would receive an intake form and a liability form. So you would fill that out in your platform as well.
right.
And that would give me my guideline as to what does this person really need from me, because my intake forms are geared specifically to really inquire about how I can serve my community best. So I take a deep dive into what does this person really need. And that's adjustable. And I think there's a class, where we talk a lot about that, how to create your intake form so that you're really getting what you need from the material, the questions you're providing for your clients.
Yeah.
I
have a quick question, and this goes back to what Dr. Tara had talked about when transitioning from a in-person, when you're dealing with clients that are kind of like the old school way of doing business, right? They want to be in person. They want to hand you cash. They want to hand you a check. They don't feel comfortable putting their card information online. We get a lot of that, with specific generations. And I just wanted to touch on how you handled that and how you got people to feel comfortable doing that.
Right. Right. Yeah, do you
Well,
wanna?
it was not easy. Well, but because everything happened suddenly and we had to switch everything, I already had clients that they signed up for a program and they had no choice. They had to switch, but after a while, everybody got comfortable with that way of paying, getting appointment. It was very challenging for me too, having an office, having somebody getting appointments for me and getting the payments. It was very challenging. And now I can see with this platform how easy it is for clients to go to your website, get an appointment, and even make a payment. And then all you have to do is just show up online. And I think it just these platforms making it so comfortable for practitioner and also for the client. For me, it was not easy, and for my clients, I agree with you. It was a challenge for everyone. But then after a while, it gets we all got used to that online life now, and people can sit in their comfort on their home, and just all you have to do is click a button and listen.
Now,
I had
do you guys find that transition period, did it take very long? Like, what did that transition period look like? And did you have a moment where you just kind of made a decision for your business and said, okay, starting on this date, this is how my business is going to run, and giving your clients that leave like a month to prepare for the change that's coming. Debbie, did you go through that or?
Yeah, well, I did a hybrid when things opened up again. I found myself running from the 3 different locations, and I was all over the place, and I was really all of a sudden I felt so stressed, and I hadn't experienced that when I was home working. I didn't have a platform either, so I was literally like Skyping it or Zooming it or FaceTiming it or trying to just figure it out and scheduling in my my little notebook and sending my own reminders out. And then when we went back in person, I was like, well, I'm doing the same thing, but now I have to drive, and remember gas went like through the roof, and I have this Jeep because I live in the mountains, and I'm like, this is crazy. So I said to my clients, I said, I'm going to do Thursdays only in person. And I was kind of going with, well, who's willing to do online? That's how I did it, until finally I did make a decision, Rochelle, that from this point, I'm going only online. And I had some resistance initially, but then the feedback was that they prefer online because they're comfortable in their home. They don't have to, some of my clients are immune compromised, and they don't have to risk if there's an uptick that they're going and they're exposing themselves, or, if I was exposed and I have to call everybody a little bit. So that was a relief for a lot of my clients that were high risk. But it was interesting. I thought that my older people would be most resistant because, dealing with money initially, it was some people wanted to mail me a check. A lot of people were figuring out Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. And they just did not want to put their credit card information online initially until we started losing track of things. And then when I showed them that this is a much easier, more reliable and safer tool, they went into it much easier. But my younger people were the most resistant. And that was a surprise because it was harder for the older people to get used to the technology. But I would say, for people that struggled, I would literally hold their hand through it. I would walk them, on the phone. Okay, hit the button, you're there once, twice, and they had it. They were getting used to it. And they were really pleased with themselves that they were developing a new skill, and that they also felt like they were gaining freedom because so many of their doctors were doing telehealth. So they felt like they were learning a new skill. And with me, they were comfortable with me already. So they could say to me, Debbie, help me. I don't understand what's going on here. Show me what button do I hit? And we could do it together. It was once, twice, and they were good. Switching people from Venmo to try to get them to do their credit card online was challenging initially, but I think it's now, like Dr. Tara said, it's the new normal. This is the way of the world since COVID, and I think people are just automatically becoming more comfortable. So yes, once they realize this is more secure, the platform is keeping record. If there's ever a question, we have a feature online where I can pull up their whole history and show them, these were the sessions you attended, these were the sessions that you paid for, this is a missing. I mean, I have the ability to not take a session if it's not paid. I don't do that. That's just my choice, but I don't recommend it. I would say just take the payment in advance. But this was one of the ways that I helped people transition. And eventually I will get to the point where I no longer take payment after the fact. I just kind of go with what the platform has provided, including the charge every time you go over, because setting boundaries with your client online is very important. You need to know when the session time is over, it's over. And that can be, if you have a lot of compassion and you're used to being soft around the edges, like a lot of us healing type people are, it's hard to put those boundaries up, but set them for yourselves, because it's a built-in feature to the program, and it takes the pressure off of you, like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, it's just in the, it's there, it's not my fault. But it'll help your business as well, and it'll really show people that your time is of value. I mean, you're all gaining education at Quantum, so that equates to the ability that to translate that into, at the end of the day, more money. You have the freedom, and it's not about that. I don't feel it's about that. However, this is how we make a living. So when you gain a higher education, you can translate that into charging something that seems fair to you. So your time is of value, and the platform allows you to show your value with boundaries. So you can take, you can take the pressure off of yourself. So if it's hard for you.
I did hear that some of the benefits, and correct me if I'm wrong, some of the financial benefits on the providers and the overhead cost is minimal when you do virtual, because you're not paying for rent for an office space and extra rooms and all of that, phone lines, internet at somewhere else.
Yes.
And you can live wherever you want.
That's
So
right.
the overhead cost, the cost of gas for the client and the practitioner goes away. So,
and you can write your square footage off on your tax returns. You are saving gas money. I had 3 locations, and none of them were less than 30 minutes from my house. So I was all over the place, spending the gas, paying for the rent, including that, like the additional locations in my liability insurance. I have 1 location. My office is 100 square feet. That's a tax write-off. In 2020, it was not a tax write-off because everybody's office was at home, but it is, again, your mortgage interest. So when you talk to your accountant, remember your home office space counts, and everything in your office, all of your office supplies are also tax write-off. So you are making mostly profit. I mean, what did I spend this year? I bought a bigger monitor. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's fantastic. It's really pure profit. And like Dr. Tara just said, my husband just came home tonight and said, I think we need to relocate. I might be taking my old job back. It's no problem.
No problem.
No problem. Wherever you want to go, that's you're free. I think I would never go back. I love it.
One question that I think most people have, now that we work online, how do we find our clients? When you have an office, people can see, some people foot traffic, word of mouth, but how do you find clients? So you can always do online presentations for a group, live, or send email to a group of your clients and ask them if you are about to introduce a new program, you want to add a new program, you can just ask them for a live free presentation, 1 hour of your time every month to that bi-weekly, and just some collaborative sessions with your clients. And that's how and they ask your clients to bring their family member, their friends. And also you can do presentations in I was doing presentation in fitness centers. For every town have different associations, diabetic association, uh, heart and stroke foundation. You can just start doing your presentations and then ask them to join your online community. And that's how you can find your clients. I'm
Right,
sure you
yeah, social media groups and stuff. You know, Debbie, when we
Absolutely.
first met, when you first came on board, I remember you were using Facebook more like a blog post
Mhm.
area where you would talk about different aspects of what you do and how to help people. And
Mhm.
and that kind of promoted your business as well, doing that.
That's right. I did that. And I always felt if you give something away, it's good. It's a good thing to do. You have information in your head and in your heart that you can share with the world. And it's certainly better than Dr. Google because they're getting incorrect information. Why not share it? Offer something to somebody. It creates really good energy. And what you put out will come back to you in tenfold. The other thing I do is I'll write a blog or a journal, like an article for a local publication. We had a local newspaper in my community, and I had a monthly article I would do. It was called In Good Health. And every month I picked a different topic, and it was funny. It was short. It was just a couple of paragraphs, but people loved it and they started looking forward to it, and the people would find me. Well, I developed a relationship with these people at different publications. And now anytime, by offering free services like this, now anytime they need an expert in the field, they call me and they interview me, and my name is in the local papers. It's a great way to be found. The other thing, like Rochelle was saying, is that I will just put a blog up on Facebook and offer a free gift underneath it. Just, share this with a friend.
Mhm.
And you would be surprised how many people are interested in, remember your hashtags, because people will look for your hashtags.
Mhm.
And this, if you do the Facebook, Instagram share or create, I don't create TikTok videos. I would love to. I see a lot of my fellow alumni creating great TikTok videos. I just haven't had a chance to get into it, and I'm a little bit nervous to do it. But it isn't, if you're good in front of the camera and you do, I know Issy does great stuff with his posts. He's always writing and showing beautiful, conversations. This gets attention. People are interested in finding out how to heal. They want to be well. And if you're offering something for nothing, people will share it. I have gotten messages from many people. Oh, I'm a cousin of so-and-so that you graduated with. They shared, I belong to my high school group, and somebody shared something, and their cousin's husband emailed me. You really will make it into nooks and crannies. And being online, I'm in New York, New Jersey. My backyard's New Jersey, my front yard's New York. But I have clients in Long Island, upstate New York, Pennsylvania, South Jersey. I'm trying to think, my furthest client is on the border of Canada. So really, I had a client in California. So really you can be anywhere. So your information out there on social media, if you are writing it in a nice way, giving information that pertains to your area of expertise, and you're writing your hashtags, offering something for nothing, just as a warm wish, you'll see that will come back to you. And also I do on occasion do workshops. My sister owns a yoga studio, but the temple here in my town has meditation groups, so I'll volunteer and lead a meditation. This gets your name out.
And get your name
Why
out
not?
there. We'll
Yeah.
get to know you. Issy, I want to invite Issy to unmute himself because I have a question for Issy here. Can you unmute yourself, Issy? Let's see. See if I
Hey,
can.
you.
There we
Hi.
go. I'm gonna pin you here because I wanna ask, you do a lot of virtual as well. I know you do virtual across countries. You have some people, you're in Australia, and you have some people who are your clients here in the US. And I wanna ask you, what has been a challenge for you? Like, what is the most challenging thing for you when you do virtual, health coaching sessions?
Actually, there is not a lot of challenges when you do online because it's exactly the same as you sitting in front of someone. Even a stranger, for the first time you meet them, and especially now that I'm doing a wheelchair experimental program, that I'm getting people out of wheelchairs, and it is amazing to see the result. And you're doing it only online, and you're using the techniques of visualization, imagination, thought, repeating thought, and all those things that works. And it worked fantastically, like, as you know, and Debbie said that, and you the same, Dr. Tara, exactly the same. What we think is what we become. Now I'm developing a new program, which I will do online for teachers and parents, which is, I call it the brain pattern interrupting technique for disciplining kids or adults.
Well, I'm
And
gonna use
it's
that.
because what I study, when we study NLP, and we study also hypnotherapy when we did the degree. And I said to myself, how can I use the handshake induction things, for something else? And I've been thinking about it months and months and months, and then it just dawned on me. Kids expecting people to come to them angry when they do something wrong, or disciplining in a different way. And now when you go and do it with TLC, it's exactly the same as the handshake, induction, because their brain expecting something but not getting it, and it's ready, and it's open for suggestion or embedded command.
Mhm. I just put in Issy's Instagram in the chat if you guys are interested in checking out his Instagram account. He does really well with some of his videos and his posts, and how he promotes himself online for the world, because Instagram is a world platform, right? Everybody in all the different countries can access it, and he has some great ways that he reaches out to people there as well.
Thank you.
I'd like all of you, whoever know anyone in wheelchair, as long as the cord is intact and not severed, I can get the connection between the brain, the nervous system, to fire down to the legs and get the feeling back, everything from the tip of the toes all the way up.
And he does this virtually. He's done it for someone in Florida.
And I got
So-
another one in Denver, Colorado, and one also from Delaware or somewhere near New York somewhere.
Mhm.
Wow.
Actually, she's the next one going to be online with me.
Thank you.
But
Issy.
it's amazing. It's amazing the result you can get. And you know that, Debbie, you know that, Dr. Tara, that that people create their own sickness, create everything. I reversed my own diabetes 6 years ago,
Mhm.
completely.
Yeah. And I can attest, Issy has a great way of reaching. It's almost like when you're sitting in a virtual space, it's so hard to connect with people on that connection with the energy and feeling each other's energy. But I'm here to tell you it's possible, because I've sat with Debbie, I've sat with Tara, and I've sat with Issy, and we definitely feel that energy. And I know I've spoken with a lot of you that have joined on video, and I really do feel like it is possible to make that connection even in a virtual space.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only
100%.
thing is I still need help with the platform, because
Yeah.
I'm not really good on those things.
Oh, it's
Just to
just
build it up.
if
Yeah.
anybody, if I could get used to it, you can get used to it. It actually, once I started, well, Rochelle was great in showing me how, and it's getting easier and easier because the platform is developing. But it's just a matter of getting accustomed to a new thing, just like your clients. And then once you start using it, it just becomes like anything else. You're
Yeah,
just,
it's not the using it, it's mainly the building it up,
Mm,
putting
yep.
all the things in, how to do the programs, how to do this, how do you choose,
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the part that I like to I've talked about the aspect of getting creative, sitting, just quietly. I always like to just kind of meditate a little bit and get myself really quiet, like you learned in the hypnosis class, when we get our mind to a brainwave frequency, a mode of creative brainwave, alpha brainwave, we have the ability to think clear and come up with more creative is the only word that's coming to mind, but expressive ways of putting what we could do into a program. And there's been times where I've thought to myself, well, I have this great idea, but how would that look virtually? And sitting in silence, meditating, even making little marks and drawing things, your mind will develop its own path to doing it, and then it will be specific to your expertise. You will creatively find a way to do it. And like I said before, if I can figure it out, anybody in the world can figure it out, because it's not my husband and my daughter will definitely agree. But I am pointing over here to, like, I have Reiki distance healing crystals. I have even, Rochelle, when you were talking about energy before, it made me think I have even done Reiki sessions and right here, just like this, with people, and chakra balancing. And I can, if they're, needing the sound therapy that used to go along in person, I have playlists through YouTube that I will email them, and they can actually play on their end, because coming through the mic, it's not the same thing, but they can put their earbuds in and we can go through sections of the body, just kind of clearing energy blocks. So that there is, even with energy medicine, to be felt this way, like right here. And I can't tell you how many times I've had a very warm, loving connection and a very true healing experience with people. It happens every day, that people say to me that these sessions are so incredibly impactful. You really, it's amazing how you adapt and you become accustomed to the new normal. This is just the new normal for all of us in the new world we live in. And so we have to keep up with the world and how it changes, and look at what everybody's doing, where Issy can reach people in Delaware all the way from across the globe. That's incredible. He's sending a gift across the world.
Alexis said it's quantum non-locality and entanglement at work.
That is exactly right, Alexis. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We were just talking about this before,
you can
earlier
do
today.
Yeah.
you can do also eye connection with people, because I teach people also about self-love. And when they go to the mirror and trying to do it, they can't get, I see a sad eyes, I see this and I see that. And I actually get close to the camera with my eyes, I take my glasses off and I start channeling energy to them. Energy, unconditional love, compassion, and kindness. And they feel it and they start crying, right? And I say to them, then you go and do exactly the same in the mirror with your eyes, And I give them the metaphor of the twin, identical twin, that they bond together but inseparable.
That
Yes.
is entanglement right there.
Yeah.
And it's worked
Beautiful.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And then my
Thank
book will come soon.
Yes, Issy is writing a book. I'm so excited for it. What's the title of it, Issy?
Dang.
You will love probably the title, because it's The Liberation Code, Breaking Free from the Shackles of Conformity.
Mm,
Wow.
Wow.
I love it. I can't
Beautiful.
wait.
And everything to do with sickness and health, it starts with being a person by birth or being a person by choice.
Mm,
And the transformation, of course.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Issy, for joining us. Does anybody else have questions? You guys are free to unmute yourselves if you want to ask any questions or make any comments. Definitely. Oh, Mary, you raised your hand. Please unmute yourself and definitely.
Hello, how is everybody?
Good.
Hi,
How are
Mary.
you? Louise, fun to hear.
This
There
has
you
been
are.
listening to. I just entered into a new building and I'm thinking, why did I do that? But I am reflexology is one of my top appointments, and I'm the only reflexologist here in Tyler in about a 250-mile area. So anyways, I was wondering, Debbie, how did you do when we were looking at your website? Did you list just one link for the different, like say the health coaching 30, 90, 60 minutes, with the platform the way it is without being able to group them?
Right.
Right. And I actually before this Quantum had this platform, I was with a different software company where I had everything booked individually, and it was a little bit confusing. So the schedule now just goes directly to book a service, and they can scroll here because these are the online services. In other words, you won't be able to book auricular therapy here. So,
Right.
but on my website, they can call me and see if I'm willing to do, an online or an in-person rather. So this really just links to all of the virtual appointments, and then they can
Okay.
scroll, right?
So how
Um,
she did it, the 30 minutes, she's talking about how did you separate the 30, 60 and 90-minute sessions. And so basically you just did a service for each one, right?
Oh, right. Is that what you meant, Mary?
Yeah, and then like I'm trying to put it on my website. I just paid someone to redo my website, and what I wanted her to do was to be able to link each of those different services. So reflexology, I have 4 different appointments. I have a 30, 60, 90 children's, and then I have a reflexology with Reiki. So that would be 4 different buttons.
Right, and that's how I had it initially, and it was very confusing. So could you go back to my services, Rochelle? So if you scroll past my service, so I just literally you can stop right.
Okay.
Okay,
Click.
yeah. Well, that's a health thing, but if you look in the upper right of the screen, it says just 30, 60 and minute. I just book it in time slots now. And then once they're directed to the landing page, then that's where your programs can be put. So in other words, on my actual website, I just say I offer all of my services in 3 different sessions, 30, 60, 90. And then once they go directly to my landing page, that's where they can see what do they want. So if you wanted to have reflexology with chakra healing, or reflexology with however you're doing it, Reiki rather, then you can book that right there. So 60 minutes reflexology with Reiki, or how I apologize, I don't remember exactly. And you could do it. That 45 minutes, I actually had to stick there for a client who was a unique case. I'm actually taking that out, but that I think I have listed as private. So you have the ability to have some of your programs private as well. So I have that for myself as a booking feature for this one particular person who, again, some people I still book their sessions for them. They don't necessarily go in and do it. So when we were talking about acclimating the client. There are some people that to this day, I just book the appointments for them and I just do a repeat, same appointment each week or every other week, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I anywhere from 2-year-olds to 85-year-olds. So
Oh, right. Yeah, in that case, you'll definitely be helping people.
Yeah.
And it's really not a problem. I mean, what I do is I have a time in my schedule where I do paperwork and scheduling, and I literally put it in my schedule, and then I go ahead and I put my appointments ahead. But this platform will have repeat in it very shortly. So that's coming up. Or you can do it in a group session, which I'm sure Rochelle has talked to you about. But anyway, you have the ability to just go ahead and put them in advance, and then they approve the appointments. So
And
their
then they
parents,
just pay online when they approve the appointments.
right,
have-
exactly.
Pay online when they approve it. So you just send it to them, they open it up in their email, they approve it, and then they make their payment, and then it's set.
So you could do your hybrid, you could do your reflexology in person and your other appointments virtually. So you could do, 50-50, and your virtuals could be, I have a classmate who does acupuncture, and she has some clients, well, she'll see when people are on the table just for like a 15-minute check-in virtually. So, she's just checking in, and so that hybrid works well too. And both appointments can be scheduled in the software however you need them, in person.
Right.
Like you can literally write in person or virtual in your
In
in
the
your
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know if you noticed, but I have one that says Venmo clients. I don't know if you saw it. So my Venmo clients are the people that don't put a credit card in there.
Yeah.
And that's private, and I'll book those appointments. Those are my last ones hanging on,
Yeah.
She's slowly getting everybody transitioned over.
We're almost there. Yeah, it hasn't been a difficult. I thought it would be more challenging, but truly, like the initial people getting used to the idea, and once they do it once or twice, they realize it's not that difficult and not that different. Like Issy said, you really can make this beautiful connection with people.
Yeah.
A lot of my Reiki clients will say that, after 2020 and all that had happened, they said that it seemed that they were more intense, the Reiki sessions.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, there still are a few lingering ones that are like, I want it in person.
Yeah.
And most of them are the elderly that, they don't get that safe touch. They don't get anything,
Right. And that's part of the decision to like how I did it. I kept the Thursdays. That was my in-person day. And I just had all of my people, and that was primarily what I was doing, like those absolute have to. But, eventually people phase out of sessions and you gather new clients. So as the turnover does happen, you can just say, I only do virtual. And that's how I have myself listed, virtual only. So it's clear. I will do a workshop occasionally. That's the extent.
Yeah.
That's how I market myself. And so
And I
people
think
know.
setting that expectation and giving your clients time to adjust to that new normal, letting them know, hey, as of September 1st, giving them maybe 2 or 3 month heads up, like as of this date, this is the way this is going to be, and it kind of gives them the ability to start learning slowly and get gradually work into it, rather than just a hard stop and trying to figure it out. So
Exactly.
thank you, Mary. I appreciate you and your question. Does anybody else have any other questions? No? Okay. All right, ladies, it's a little past 7. I don't want to take everybody's time, but I guess my last question for you guys are, what are your favorite parts of being a health coach?
I know mine immediately.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Go ahead.
Was this to the group or was this to
This is to
Dr.
you and Dr. Tara.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's just a personal connection. It's not specifically a modality. It's literally having an impact on somebody's life in a positive way. And that I actually have paper towels in my drawer because I cry like regularly. When your heart is in the right place and you truly want to help people heal, and they reflect back to you that the impact you're having on them is changing their life for the better. I'm going to cry now. I don't think there's anything greater in the world. You know, this is not work. This is living my dream. So I don't know. That's just for me, the personal interaction and
What
helping
about you,
people.
Dr. Tara?
I love everything about it. I feel that we can have more time for our clients when we have online. So time is so precious for us as a practitioner and also for our clients, that we can just provide more. We can reach to a wide audiences, like from everywhere around the world. And that quantum entanglement, I believe, is precious. And I really enjoy that. And I also enjoy this meeting. So from everywhere, from Hawaii, from Australia, everywhere. And that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate everybody coming and getting to know Debbie and Tara, and learning and growing as we grow this alumni association. You know, as we move forward next month and the months after, we'll be working towards different topics about business building and becoming a new health coach, and how we can, you know, be better virtual health coaches. And give you guys the tools that you guys need. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
I
Thanks,
hope everyone
everybody.
has a good day. Bye.
Thanks.